6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome into Weather Extra. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. We got rain moving into the area right now. We're going to have some impacts during the overnight. Let's get to our First Alert weather headlines, and you'll see that tomorrow all this is going to be moving out by 7 a.m. So we'll get the rain out early, and then we got some colder air moving in. Actually, it's going to be cold in the morning. We're already seeing some of those chilly temperatures back to the west. Let's talk about it right now. Heavy rain now moving into Lamar County, Sullivan to Vernon. Lightning is popping. We're hearing some rumbles, and wouldn't surprise me here if we had some wind gusts over 35 miles per hour as that line moves in, but nothing severe out of this, just some rain and rumbles. And we have this one line that's going to take its time. It's taking its time getting here this week, and it's going to take its time moving across the state tonight. And right now this is well west of Birmingham, well west of Talladega, but lightning right around Millport. You can see how it's picked up right in those areas, seeing some indications of some gusty winds. Not really seeing a major severe risk out of this system, but as it moves through, rumbles, heavy rain in some spots, and this will all mostly be east and especially south and east of Interstate 59 at least by midnight. Look at Birmingham showing 49 by midnight tonight. That's a big drop-off, going from mid-80s back into the 40s, so be ready for a noticeable change, especially if you're out and about early tomorrow morning. This is showing some 40s early on, so it's going to be a cold start to our weekend as that rain moves on out. And Saturday's highs in the 70s, so the afternoon's going to be fantastic, actually right where we should be. Perfect weather for the 8A game, and then Talladega, the big race on Sunday. You can see those temperatures in the 60s with some sunshine making a return. But after the system tonight, and I know we do dry out over the weekend, but the next stretch of dry weather, it won't last quite as long. We're going to see some unsettled weather building back in here next week. We'll show you that coming up right here on Weather Extra. And also coming up here on Weather Extra, we got a meteor shower. When and where to check that out to see the meteors. And we're talking about Mickey's Weather Kid of the Week and weather around the world. So stay with us.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
Some people may think you're overreacting. Some may ask, is there a storm coming? That's okay, because knowing the First Alert has helped you beat the rush. Being prepared puts you in control and changes the what if to you're okay. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
If you have plans for this weekend, we have a first alert for a wintry mix.
When you need to know next week, tomorrow, or even right now, the WBRC First Alert Weather Team is always on your side, whenever and wherever you need us. This is why we First Alert.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. I know it's pretty cloudy tonight and we got some rain and storms on the way, but if you don't have any Saturday night plans yet, look forward to some mostly clear skies, which could play in your favor if you're a stargazer like myself. Tomorrow across Alabama, if you get away from the city lights, you can spy the Lyrid meteor shower. You can see at its peak up to 15 to 20 meteors per hour over the weekend. The Lyrids are known to produce bright dust trails that last for several seconds. And if you happen to have a decent telescoping camera, you can try to snap some of those photos and send them to us on the First Alert Weather app. If you're like me, though, and only have your iPhone camera, you may not even want to bother. But we do still expect some beautiful sunsets at least, and looking good across Alabama. And we check in now with meteorologist Tania Michelle, who talked with someone up in North Alabama today.
Mets around the world. You know what that means. We're going to take a little trip, and today we're actually staying in Alabama. We're going to go a little bit north to Huntsville to meet Chelsea Aaron. Take a look. Welcome to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm your First Alert meteorologist, Tania Michelle, and today I'm joined with a meteorologist not too far from us. We're going a little bit north to Huntsville, Alabama, to meet Chelsea Aaron. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Tania. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much for reaching out about this segment. Yeah, I'm just right up the road, I-65, Rocket City, as they call us. And I've been here exactly a year now almost, and it seems crazy. I guess time does fly when you're having fun.
Oh, absolutely. So tell us a little about what station you're at right now.
Yeah, Tania, so I'm at WAFF 48 here in Huntsville, Alabama. We are owned by Gray. WBRC is actually one of our sister stations, so I'm glad and I'm proud to represent Gray as a company and to have such a great work family, because I mean, I already love my job. I love what I do every day. I'm passionate about the weather. I feel fulfilled in being able to do what I'm passionate about and make money for it, right? And I think it also helps when you have people behind you as a family supporting you in a work environment.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your journey and how it started. Where did you first find your interest in weather?
Right. I feel similar to most that I found my interest in weather at a very young age. If you're not familiar with me, I am from just west of Birmingham, very, very small town. We're not usually on the map unless there's a tornado warning or a tornado watch, unfortunately. A very, very small community there, west of Birmingham, close to Pleasant Grove, Hueytown, if you know that area, right in Jefferson County. And as a child growing up around that, 1998, we had an EF5 tornado. And again, we're a small town. We don't have much to begin with. And we're very close knit as well. And the EF5, it was a nocturnal tornado as well, came through the night. It took out our entire community pretty much, including our school. And then no one forgets the April 27th, 2011 tornado outbreak. And I know many people remember that for the large violent tornado that went through Tuscaloosa, right downtown Tuscaloosa. But, you know, a lot of people forget about the small towns too. And, you know, our adjacent neighbors, Concord and places like Pleasant Grove, were just absolutely demolished and essentially brought up in Dixie Alley, or, you know, the quote unquote, what is now Tornado Alley. And you see it so much that you become interested in how does this work? And my parents are diehard WBRC Fox 6 fans. I feel that you know, as early as I can remember, my mom would always have on the news, especially on the days when it counts and we had severe weather, and we'd be watching Chief Meteorologist J.P. Dice, now Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. And as a child, again, growing up around that, seeing it so much, I became interested in it. I wanted to know how it works. Don't get me wrong, it's scary, it's dangerous, but I saw these people on TV as I was younger, and, you know, hunker down, get in your safe place. And the fact that we have so much technology that we can predict where these storms are going, when they're going to impact you. We can give timelines and ETAs. Again, that just fascinated me as a child. And I also loved math. Throughout my studies, I figured out there's an equation for everything that happens in the atmosphere. And so that continued to fuel my passion for weather. But I did do things a little backwards, to say the least. I ended up going to the University of Alabama for my undergrad. There, I double majored in journalism, in creative media, and geography, because Unfortunately, the University of Alabama does not have a meteorology program, so I received my broadcasting knowledge well before I even got into the meat of the meteorology, right? What I do now. And a lot of people ask me if I could do it all over again, would I take that route? Because I never thought I would go to grad school. I never thought in my wildest dreams I would have my master's degree, but I would not do it any differently because all of those little pieces in my life has led me to where I am now. And I feel like it's kind of like the saying goes, life is not about the destination, it's about the journey, right? It took a little longer for me to get on this journey, but I would have missed out on all those opportunities nonetheless. But I did my undergrad at the University of Alabama. I double majored and did the best I could with an earth system science focus. And I took a good chunk of my maths, I believe up to Cal 2, and then physics with Cal 1 while I was at Alabama, because I had already planned on attending Mississippi State, their world recognized meteorology program for grad school. And during that time, I was able to do an internship at my first station that I worked at in Tuscaloosa, WVUA 23. It's built right inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, so front row seat to the games. Plus, I got to tell the weather. They took a chance on a girl like me because, again, I didn't have my meteorology knowledge before they hired me. I was working in Tuscaloosa on the weekends, actually. After I interned there throughout my undergrad while I was in grad school in Starkville. I also got to do an internship at WBRC, there where you are now. I believe I was a sophomore at the time. And again, when you're younger, you have all these wildest dreams and you don't necessarily know until you get older, hey, am I really gonna like doing this for a living? And that's why I recommend to everyone, don't put yourself in a box when you go to college because you don't know you like it until you try it. Fortunate for me, I tried news my first semester at Alabama just to try it out. It was not for me. It's not for everybody. And I knew that my passion was elsewhere. I started interning at my first station, WVUA 23. The chief meteorologist there, Richard Scott, he taught me everything, I knew up to that point before I embarked on my grad meteorology education at Mississippi State, and popped me up on the green screen. And I knew that's where I was supposed to be. It kind of, life comes full circle. So ended up completing my meteorology degree at Mississippi State in 2021.
Nice. So what challenges do you feel that you had to overcome in your journey so far?
Oh, goodness gracious. I would say the biggest challenge I've had to overcome is the fact that I'm a perfectionist. I have a type A personality, and the very definition of weather or being a meteorologist is that weather is not a perfect science. And I'm always striving for perfection. And it's kind of like an oxymoron, right? It's like putting a rhino in a China factory, where they just don't mix. But I guess I have found a way to overcome it because there's a big difference between precision and accuracy, right? So with weather, as complicated as it is, I'm trying to give people the most accurate forecast that they can count on, especially on the days when it matters.
What advice do you have actually to another person pursuing this same career field, the next generation? I met a young girl the other day. She wants to be a meteorologist. If she was listening to this right now, what would you want to tell her?
There's so many things I wish I could tell the younger generation.
One thing, Chelsea. One thing.
One thing I would say, let me think long and hard. I guess I would say is keep working hard and never give up.
And where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now, Chelsea?
Oh, goodness. I feel like this question always gives me anxiety. Where do I see myself 5 to 10 years from now? Because up until this point, being a type A personality, I tried to plan out my life from beginning to end. But life is not linear. You don't get from point A to point B in a straight line. And my journey is proof of that. But where I want to be in 5 to 10 years, I think everyone everyone's definition of success is very different. My definition of success is being able to do what I love in a place that I love. And I love Sweet Home Alabama. I love doing the weather. I would love to still be honing in on my craft of severe weather and continuing to better myself and to continue to reduce fatalities every year. I hope that answers 5 to 10 years. I want to keep doing what I'm passionate about, which is the weather, and I want to share it with someone. You know, everyone wants a family.
Absolutely. I think those are all achievable goals and a good vision for yourself. It was such a pleasure speaking with you, Chelsea, and I wish you and we wish you nothing but the best.
Does your bathtub look like this? Are you constantly cleaning your shower, but the stains and discoloration just won't go away? Or maybe you're just hoping to freshen up your bathroom with something new and modern. If this is you, you may be planning on attending one of the local home shows. Well, stay tuned. Today I'm joined by Kirsten with a special announcement that's going to make the whole project easier and more affordable. Kirsten.
So Joe, we know that people are busier than ever right now. The last thing they want to do is spend hours of time on the weekend fighting traffic and all the long lines at the home shows. Well, to save time, folks should give us a call right now and get this limited time offer. We're taking 20% off all shower and bath projects, and we're offering some amazing financing. It's 12 months of no payments and no interest. That means you don't need to pay a penny on your project until an entire year after your installation is complete.
So you're saying if I start my project now, I don't have to put any money down, I get 20% off the entire project, and you're offering no payments, no interest financing for a full year. That's pretty incredible.
It really is. We understand that most people have a long list of renovations that they want to do around the house, so we're making it easier than ever to knock out that shower project right now.
That's fantastic. Well, Kirsten, how else are you making this whole project easy?
So Joe, people's biggest fear when doing a project like this is picking out something they're not going to be happy with. Well, we eliminate that fear by bringing the home show to you. When you give us a call, we'll send one of our shower and bath experts out for a free in-home design consultation. They'll bring an iPad and a sample kit to let you design the shower or bath of your dreams. Before the appointment is over, you'll see what the new shower will look like, eliminating all of the guesswork out of the project.
Kirsten, thanks. Folks, call the number on your screen right now to speak with a West Shore Home representative and to receive this limited time offer. Call in now to get 20% off your shower or bath project. Plus, they're doing 12 months of no payments and no interest financing. That means you don't need to make your first payment until 12 months after your installation is complete. Call West Shore Home now.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Here's the wet weather moving in the system here that we've been tracking all week long. The models have done an incredible job with this. The timing's been rather consistent. Most of the wet weather holding off today, and this is going to be an impact mostly during the overnight and into early tomorrow morning. Quite a bit of lightning with this. Nothing severe. This system's lacking a bit as far as the instability, and the dew points are not quite as high this go around as the system moves in, but we're probably getting some gusty winds. This is a nasty looking storm right here. Really catches my attention around Millport. See how the lightning's picked up and you get that little bit of a bow there. Probably has some 35, 40 mile per hour gusts there along Highway 96 pushing in towards places like Kennedy as that moves on to the east. But a lot of this, again, this is just mostly rain, and there's some embedded storms that's going to push through overnight, and by 1 a.m., midnight, early morning hours, we'll see a lot of this spreading on into East Alabama. So plan, you may hear a few rumbles out around the super speedway. I know we have a lot of folks camping out there, and just be ready tonight for that possibility of some rain during the overnight hours. 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, this is all moving out, but how about these temperatures early tomorrow morning? Some upper 40s, low 50s out there. Yeah, it's going to feel chilly, but the sun comes back, and this is what it should feel like in the afternoon. 70s, more typical seasonal spring weather coming back, but it will be windy. That breeze is going to pick up from the north as that cold air settles in. We get that colder air advection that happens tomorrow. Yeah, breaking out the fancy terms here on Weather Extra, right? All right, next big thing, we get into next week. We've got multiple rounds of rain possible. Looks like a more active west to northwest flow aloft tries to set up around the region here, and starting on Tuesday could see a few showers Notice how the global data is picking up on perhaps a cluster of rain and storms around early Wednesday. One there, and then maybe into Thursday. You can see here another wave of rain. So we're seeing still multiple chances for some wet weather next week. So do check in with Tania and Fred over the weekend as we continue to fine-tune that forecast, get into more specifics on the timing with respect to the rain for it next week. But certainly doesn't look like we're going to have quite as long of a stretch there between rainmakers as you can see on that 7-day forecast. And notice there with Wednesday and into Thursday, we did bump up the rain chance. Just a quick check on those events. 8A, sunshine, highs in the 70s. Talladega, Geico 500 that you can watch on WBRC. Sunshine, high temperatures in the 60s. But again, there's that 7-day. The Lyrid meteor shower, by the way, is going to be peaking over the weekend as well. We were telling you about that. We should have some nice clearing there Saturday night and into Sunday. Overnight lows in the 40s. And again, watching not only for rain as we had on that 7-day forecast, but you can see here another look at the 7-day. We're also mentioning the first alert for maybe a few storms for next Wednesday. And it looks like Thursday and into Friday of next week. But the big question is, we go beyond the 7-day forecast. What about that weekend out there beyond the 27th? Lauren, what are we seeing?
Yeah, Wes, and hard to believe that's our first weekend or last weekend in April, and May just around the corner. So it does look like we'll likely be wrapping up April with still a below average temperature pattern, especially across the middle part of the country, but that also does include us here in central Alabama. I'm not telling you we're seeing a frost or freeze threat. We always hate to get those late in the spring season, but we are looking at the potential for at least temperatures being a few degrees cooler than average. So here we are going into next weekend. Next Saturday, Sunday, temperatures potentially in the 70s, then maybe a brief warm up before we see temperatures kind of looking more seasonable into the first week of May. And as far as low temperatures, with that possibility of cloudy, wet weather at times for the latter half of next week, notice morning lows. Anytime you have clouds overnight, think of it as almost a little blanket. If you have a clear sky, temperatures are going to be able to get a lot cooler, but when you have temperatures in the 50s, that would indicate, okay, maybe even though we're in a cool pattern, going to be a little milder than we would be otherwise because of that little blanket of cloud cover overnight. And then showing possibly as we wrap up April and get into the first few days of May, could be seeing some drier weather in place that could allow temperatures to get warmer in the afternoon, but cooler at night with 40s possible that first weekend of May. Of course, this is prone to change. That's why it's beyond the 7-day. The forecast won't be extremely accurate at this point, but we can get an idea of what potential trends could be, what that pattern could possibly be. So across the eastern half of the U.S., above average rainfall expected 6 to 10 days from now. And that fits with us expecting that more unsettled weather pattern for the latter half of next week. So here we go next Saturday, the weekend, last weekend of April, the 29th, seeing still kind of an unsettled weather pattern. We're not really certain at this time that we could end up seeing rain that weekend, that Saturday and Sunday. I still think the weather pattern could be a little bit more unsettled, but it looks like the better chance of rain as we get into next week would be Wednesday through Friday. So not a guarantee for next weekend, but we'll be keeping an eye on it. There could certainly be some clouds around. And then here we go on Monday, May 1st, showing a little dip in the jet stream that could be bringing us that brief bit of cooler air. Got the northwest flow in place, showing some clouds by the middle of the week. Here we are on May 3rd, and then we go into Thursday. May the 4th be with you, Star Wars Day. I'm not seeing any concerns in terms of rain, possibly though by Cinco de Mayo, that first Friday of May on the 5th, possibly a system coming through that could bring some rain. But I am encouraged that as I look ahead in the forecast, we're not seeing any concerns for severe weather. Of course, we'll always keep an eye on it for you, but hopefully no news is good news. In the meantime, it's Friday, which means we have another edition of Mickey's Weather Kid. Let's check out who visited the studio today.
That's right, America's First, AmFirst, making all this possible. You got a gift card, didn't you, from AmFirst, didn't you? Yeah, you did? Okay, it's 25 clams, all right. So this is Carmen Franklin, and I understand you play soccer too? What position you play in soccer?
Defense.
Defense, what number are you?
6.
6. What's the name of your team?
Thunder.
The Thunder? Oh, that's perfect name for a weather kid to have the place for the Thunder. All right, well, let's see what's going on with our weather. Let's back up right over here, if you don't mind me backing you up just a little bit. We might have to back up a little bit more. What's going on over here? Let me borrow this arm from you. There we go. What's going on back in here?
It's raining.
It is raining, but what about here at home? Is it raining here?
No.
It's not. All right, we'll pick out 3 cities, and let's see what the temperature is. What's the city right here?
Jasper.
What's the temperature?
57.
Here.
60.
And what's that city?
Birmingham.
And one more. What about right over here? What's the city right here?
Pell City.
And?
52.
52 degrees. All right, now what do we think is going on at lunchtime?
76.
And?
It's going to be cloudy.
With?
20%. 20% of rain.
Very good. And let's look right over here. What do we think is the high going into this afternoon?
78.
And we might see a few sprinkles. And coming at us at 5 to 10 miles per hour, the winds are coming from what direction?
South.
The south. Very, very good. So Carmen wants to be a foot doctor when she grows up. Do you know I have problems with my feet because I walk on concrete all the time. So maybe you'll give me a special deal when you become a foot doctor. What do you think? Yeah, all right. Yeah, I put you on the spot there. Kind of did. All right, kids, if you want to help me do the weather, tell your mom or dad or grandparents, something like that, and they can sign you up. You got to be between the ages of 5 and 12 to enter. And every kid that gets picked, well, you go online to WBRC.com. There's a little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner. Look for the Good Day, Alabama, and then when you click on that, you'll see Mickey's Weather Kids. But got to be between the ages of 5 and 12 to enter. And every kid who's picked gets an AM First Visa gift card for $25. Did you have a good time? You did a wonderful job, and you look quite lovely. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
She did do a great job. And hey, if you want to come up here, help us out anytime. We're always happy to have the weather kids in the studio. Before we go, I did want to show you one storm that we are tracking that has been moving into Lamar and Pickens County, right in that southeast corner of Lamar County. We likely are going to have some gusty winds on this storm. And notice too, the lightning has really picked up with this storm. So this is going to be a storm to watch. Could be a little bit more intense as it heads towards Kennedy, Belk, Jerusalem, Ashcraft's Corner, Gumbud, Newtonville. We want to go ahead and give you a first alert that this storm that's moving through does have some intense lightning, some heavy rainfall, and likely some gusty winds right along that line. You see what looks like a little notch there? That would indicate that we've got some winds coming in out of the south, that warm, moist air that is feeding the storm and likely helping to make it a bit more intense. But remember, the severe weather threat tonight is next to none, very, very low. But we'll keep an eye on this and, of course, keep you updated on the First Alert weather app and here on TV. Though if you're watching us right now, you're not watching us on TV. It's 2023. We do this on streaming, but we'll check back in with you, of course, if we have any updates with the weather, and check in with Fred and Tania this weekend. And we'll see you next week here on Weather Extra, Monday through Friday at 6:30 p.m. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy weekend and Friday evening.